Am I, 19F, wrong for saying no to my boyfriend, 23M, who went from wanting a threesome to now wanting another girlfriend? Me and my boyfriend have been dating for a little over 2 months and our relationship so far is pretty good up till now. He recently told in passing conversation he wants to have a threesome. I ask why and he told me it's one of his fantasies. I of course shut that down, cause that's not how I roll. If I am in a relationship with you, you are my person, end of discussion. Then he proceeded to tell me he thought I would be down because I'm not straight. Shocked. I tell him just because I'm attracted to other genders doesn't mean I'll sleep with multiple people, that's very different. Then he let out that the person he was thinking about doing the threesome with was one of our coworkers. I immediately say absolutely not. Cause that's a disaster waiting to happen. Pouting, he drops the conversation. Now Reddit. Today he went from wanting a threesome to wanting another girlfriend. We were at his mom's talking about work and the other coworkers there. When he brings up this girl, we'll call her A. I don't know her very well but working with her is nice. I have nothing against A. He begins to tell me he sees us and having a relationship together. I asked him why and his reason was that he sees himself as an amazing man, and that he wants to build the connection me and him have with someone else. He wants me to be a part of it and okay with it. I told him no, he's in a committed relationship with me. He then fires back with, well, I personally find it attractive, just like how I find you attractive. At this point I'm in utter disbelief. He then says, is it wrong to think other people are attractive? I say no, plus it's wrong to assume he'd be okay with you getting in relationships with other girls and just expect me to be okay with it. He then says wants to get to know other people on a more intimate level. I tell him there are other ways he could do that, make friends, but that just went right over his head. He then says that if we're to ask A, she would be on board with it cause he thinks she likes him, cause why wouldn't she? At this point I'm practically speechless. Then later that same night we got on the phone and talked about it some more. At this point I'm in tears, practically telling him that fact that he wants to get intimate with someone else makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong as a girlfriend. He then tells me no, I'm an amazing girlfriend and that he loves me. I fire back with, if he loved me, he wouldn't say shit like this to me. He would see me for who I am and not try to find someone else to have fun with just because you think you deserve it. He then tells me I'm not being fair. So Reddit, am I being unfair? Update 1. I'm a little new to this platform so bear with me. I wanted to take the time to clear up a few things. For starters, I want to say I did not meet my boyfriend at work. We met through a dating website. He started working with me a little after we made it official. And to those people who think he is possibly polyamorous, he is most definitely not. I actually brought up that notion and he didn't see himself as that. Also, when we first met on that dating site, his profile said monogamous. I even took some of your guys' advice and mentioned a man to have a threesome with or another boyfriend, and just as I thought, he saw that as gross. He didn't see anything wrong with it being a woman since I'm not straight. As of right now I have not broken off with him yet because he is being very good about not mentioning it since the last time we talked about it. I got very firm with him one night and flat out told him not to mention it to me. He then said he would ask her just to see if she would be down. And to also prove me wrong, I told him to go for it, because I know she has a brain in her head and she would never say yes to that ridiculous request. I'll update you all once I find out what she says. Update 2. He ducking asked her, I was at work today when he came up to talk to me. She told me that my BF told her he thought she was attractive. I shut him down saying that weird of you to say since you have a girlfriend. Then she tells me he asked to touch her butt, and another coworker collaborated on her story. I feel so sick to my stomach. I confronted him about it when he first lied to me. Then he said, why can't I do whatever I want? I'm so done and heartbroken I can't even put into words. Update. This is gonna be a long one so bear with me. Me and him are done. At least in my head we are. I haven't broken it off. I plan to, but I need to go about this the right way. He can be pretty aggressive vocally, so I need to make sure I'm going about it safely for me. Monday I was at work. I was in my break when he came sat beside me and asked if I was mad at her. To be fair, I have a RBF so I always look pissed off, but that day wasn't a good day for me. I was stressed and I didn't really feel well. I told her no, I'm not. I'm just stressed cause of work. She signed and began to lay it all out there. She proceeds to tell me not only did he end up telling A about how he found her attractive, he even tried to make advances on her. I immediately felt sick to my stomach. I went to the bathroom and just cried for what felt like hours. A hugged me and told me she was sorry she had to tell me like this. I told her I appreciate her for telling me. She then said she was gonna get the manager and tell him I needed to go home. I told her thank you cause there was no way in hell I was gonna get back to work knowing all that. I ended up going home and my BF got off shortly after that when had a talk. I confront him over the phone on what he told me and how I was appalled and not okay with what he did. He of course denied everything I was saying. But after a few minutes of pressing on the issue he finally relented and said, okay I told her I like her so what you knew I had feelings for her so why is this a shock? I told him I was more upset at the fact he made advances on her. He said he never did that. I told him I was gonna ask then cause something is clearly not adding up. He told me not to. I asked why and he said she wouldn't tell me the truth. I said whatever and hung up and texted A just asking for more information then not even 5 seconds later BF class back and asks why I texted her. I immediately ask how he knows I asked. He then tells me he got her Snapchat. And she screenshotted my messages and sent them to him. I'm of course very confused and now I'm thinking is this bitch trying to split me and my BF up so they can get together. We then started yelling and screaming at each other about how our relationship wasn't healthy and all our problems we had with each other. We fought for about 2 hours. Then we ended the call. During that time while I was at home I was talking to her about what happened. And she says that she was only trying to help. She doesn't want to come between me and my BF's relationship and that she only screenshotted my messages as cause at her phone and she was confused on why I was reaching out to her. She then reassured me that she was gonna stay away from my BF. I thanked her and ended the conversation. About an hour later my BF called me back asking me to come over. He wanted to talk in person. I didn't feel comfortable with that at first. But I ended up going but I made sure to bring my pepper spray and a metal poker just in case. When I got there he was on his bed clearly crying. He looked so pitiful I couldn't help but laugh in my head. I might have let out a snicker. He then proceeded to apologize to me telling me he loved me. I asked him what he's sorry for he then said for hurting me. We sat in silence for a good while. We ended up talking things out, then I left to go home. The next day at work my general manager came up to me and asked me what happened the day before. I told my side of the story and he told me that I made a complaint about what happened and that he has to now treat this as an investigation. I of course get worried about the outcome. I ask if my BF is going to get in trouble he said no, he was just gonna get a stern talking to. Now as of writing this he has been talked to once and is going to get talked again. I think personally he is very bipolar. Cause he went from being apologetic to seeing nothing wrong to what he did. This will be my last update. If you guys have any questions I'll answer them under your comment, but for now thank you all for the help and advice. Update 2. I broke up with him, and it went as I expected. I read all of your guys' comments and made a plan on how I was gonna do this. I also had a close friend help me do it. Basically I ended up deciding to call him. He answered right away. I told him we needed to talk. He said okay and if everything was okay. I told him no. Then I started to lay it on think about how much he has put me through in this relationship. And now the drama that has been happening this week is not good for me and it can't be good for you. He sat there silent for a good while. Then he started name calling saying I'm a bad girlfriend for not respecting his boundaries and listening to him on what he wants. I told him what he wants is crazy. We bicker back and forth until I finally just had enough and ended the call and blocked him. After that I called my work and put in my 2-week notice. I am currently looking for a new job. Please subscribe my channel and stay with us by like, comment and share.